What's up, everybody? We are back. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host Heather C. Smothered Season 4, Episode 2 is aired. This is Part 2. We have a little more to talk about, so let's revisit Soon-Hee and Angelica and Jason. So we watched a scene opening the show where Jason was playing video games and Angelica was asking for help with Amara, and Jason couldn't pause the game. So apparently on these new games these days, you can't actually pause it. Once you get into a live round of the game, you have to play it through. So Angelica, as any wife or mother or girlfriend would, got extremely irritated and said, I don't even need your help. If this is how you're going to be, I don't need your help, because in the end, your child should be more important than a video game. So Jason explains to us he does not participate in nightly duties with his daughter because Soon-Hee makes him feel unneeded and unwelcome. Now, I don't want to say he's overreacting, because we have seen the way he interacts with Soon-Hee, and she does say some pretty mean things that can make you feel like, I don't want to be around her. But you have to understand, with your daughter, these moments are never going to be repeated. The things that you do, they get older so fast, you're just missing out. And I wish that he would do a little more to be present in her life.
Yeah, I do too. I think that he almost isn't ready for that responsibility, because if you can't separate yourself from a video game or your child from the video game, you might not be at that point of your life yet. I was noticing that the sleeping arrangement where they have the baby sleeping with Soon-Hee, the grandma, I know a lot of people are probably going to make this like a hot topic. A lot of people have different views and ways to look at it. I wasn't really like weirded out by the fact. I just like, the only thing that I'm taken back by is that she's not sleeping with the mom, Angelica. Like,
Right.
because normally when you always think of like babies and little ones and stuff, the mommy is always there. So the fact that she kind of like says goodnight and, it's like she goes to sleep with grandma, I mean, which is nothing wrong, because I mean, that's her mom. But it's just kind of like, I've never seen that situation before. I've seen the baby sleep in the bed with parents and the mom and, stuff like that, but never like the grandmother over the mother. They're in the same house. So, but that just goes to show that they have this really tight bond that's now going to trickle down to her daughter. But yeah, like I said, I didn't find it to be weird. I just thought it was like different because I've never seen that situation before. And then when Jason's dad came over, I felt like he was kind of like, he had like motives where he kind of wanted to like tell Soon-Hee about herself, but then like he kind of was just like trying to also be like not involved. But you could tell that he was like, okay, come on, like, why are you still here? They need to be living their lives. But that's what's the problem is, when everybody starts putting their hands in the cookie jar and telling people how to live their life and where to live and what to do. Jason is a grown man. He has a relationship. He has a child. So he doesn't need other people to fight his battles for him. If he feels some type of way, whether it's good or bad, he should be able to stand up for himself and not have his mom or his dad fight his battles for him.
You're
Because
right.
Angelica loves her mom. She respects her mom. But if her mom does say something that she thinks is out of line, she is quick to say to her, Mom, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. I don't want to hurt you, but there's ways of doing it where you could still be an adult. And that's why I said, I don't think that he's there yet where, he decides that the video game is more important than whatever. She's trying to include him in the duties with the child. And a lot of parents don't do that. They exclude the parent. So she's trying to make him part of it. And he's just not meeting her halfway.
I think that Jason's dad, Jurgen, doesn't know the full picture either, because he feels that soon he shouldn't be there. But if Jason is working full time and Angelica's working full time, where would Amara go? Who would she be with? And I know a lot of people would rather the child be with their grandmother rather than a stranger. And if Jason isn't ready to fully take on that role and help Angelica, she can't also be working full time and taking care of Amara full time. So I feel like soon he has a place there. They just need to get a mutual respect and understanding. And that's where they're not seeing eye to eye. He doesn't respect her and her stance in the house. She doesn't respect him. And then there's just no mutual respect between the two. So there's never any understanding or seeing eye to eye.
Exactly. People have live-in nannies all the time. This is the best of both worlds. It's an actual person that they're related to and not a stranger. And she's helping around the house and she's there for her daughter for emotional support. So it's a best case scenario. He's just mad because they can't get along.
So let's talk about Francia and Paula, right? So we know that Paula told us before, especially in episode 1, she takes on the mothering role to her mom, Francia. She makes sure she's eating, drinking her shakes, and staying healthy. So we found out that Francia has been speaking to a man on an app for 3 weeks, and she purposely didn't tell Paula because Paula is almost like a mom. She's very overprotective. She's super picky of men in her mom's life. And I think it's probably a 50-50 between I want to make sure my mom is with the right person, and I also want to make sure that I get the most amount of time with my mom. So she is kind of selfish, but it's also kind of because she loves her mother. So we watched Paula ask if she could go on the date with her mother, which even her mom, Francia, felt that would be weird. I don't think that you should do that. And then she casually asked where the date was. And then this is where we get into the crashing of her mom's date. So she went into the date, she crashed the date, she ended the date early, even though both of them mutually said they wanted the date to continue. So do you feel that Paula is keeping her mom single because she's afraid to share time with anyone else? Because, her mom has been single this whole time and, no serious relationships, no engagements or marriages. You think that that is Paula's doing?
Yeah, I do. And I think in her head that she doesn't think that she's doing anything wrong. She thinks that I'm looking out for my mom. I want only the best for my mom. No one's good enough for my mom. Just like a mom would do for their children. No one's ever good enough for their children. We see that on all these shows, I Love a Mama's Boy. They're never good enough. So I think in her mind, that's what she sees. But if you look at it from a different point of view, it's almost being kind of selfish to her mom because you're not allowing your mom to be happy, to have a life or relationship outside of you. You're always going to be number one. She birthed you. No one is ever going to take your spot. So it's like, it's okay if she finds companionship and finds herself, because yes, you are a mother, but you're also a person. You were a person before you had a child. You know what I mean? Like, you can't lose yourself because you can't be the best parent that you can be if you don't even know who you are. And I think that she should at least respected her mom's wishes and let her just do the date.
Right.
Or she could have been slick about it and like drove there and maybe spied from her car. But I don't think that, because I can understand maybe she was leery. Maybe she's like, okay, there's weird people out there. I don't want my mom to get, kidnapped or anything like that. That's fine. Like, if she wanted to kind of like drive by, make sure her mom's okay. But like, don't roll up and say, all right, come on, we're going home. Because that makes you look crazy. That's embarrassing to her. That the gentleman, he was there, he was like, he cleared his schedule for her, he's showing interest in her. And it's like, what happens if she finds love? What happens if she gets a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend or whatever she prefers, and she moves on? I think that they really need to figure things out. They could be mother, daughter, best friends, love each other to death without not having time to themselves as well.
Yeah, the boundaries have to be set, and you have to respect the fact that you can have relationships with other people. And if Paula feels that a relationship with her mom could jeopardize their time, then she needs to spend time getting to know the men that are in her mom's life. Don't chase them away. spend time getting to know them in the things that they do. And maybe you can in the future do things together. And then if Paula gets a boyfriend, they can do things together, double date. But chasing people away has never been the answer. And it doesn't show love. It doesn't show that you love the person. It's almost an act of selfish or being selfish, because you're telling them they can't have something that they want. And and it's also controlling as well. It's because she was like, you should come home and have dinner with me. You should spend time with me, which, yes, you might want that, but you have to consider the other person's feelings as well.
I don't know why you would want somebody to be forced into spending time with you, because I know that, like, if the person was trying to make other plans and I was like, no, you're going to come home and do this, whatever, I would know that it wasn't authentic because I made them do it. How can you expect her to have a good time? And even if she's showing she's having a good time, deep down inside, she was excited about the date.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there was like some type of like traumatic experience that happened to Paula in her life where, like she's scared of like losing her mom, because like I said in our last podcast, I was close, to my mom growing up, and I was the same way because I was the only child for the longest time and I didn't want to share my mom's time. So it's like a lot of the stuff that they do is weird, but it's relatable. You know what I mean? It's the stuff that happens in your household, but you just don't talk about out loud. So a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff I do, I don't really like question, because I'm like, all right, I've, seen that, done that. But this is just kind of like a step beyond, because now she's taking away from her mom being a person.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I hope that they can learn to coexist and let each other have their own lives. And that might actually be a good thing, like maybe living in a separate place and then seeing each other on certain days at certain times, and setting those boundaries. Because her mom has definitely done more than a good job of being there for her. So now it's time for mom to have a chance to do the things that she wants to do. All right, guys, that's it for part 2. Thank you so much for joining us. This is my co-host, Heather C. I'm George Mossey. Make sure you're live tweeting with us every Monday night. As always, we will talk to you all really soon.